Face front, true believers. This is Modular Media's No Prize podcast. I am your host, Boingo Writer, and with me, as always, in the bull pit,
representing the distinguished competition, the Vacuuminator is here.
and we are going to talk about comics, movies, merchandise, and more. So, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. Pretty
Yeah?
good, actually. How are you?
I'm pretty good. No gimmicks this time, Vac?
No gimmicks this time.
Buster, I think Buster's a little disappointed.
Today's a normal day. I'm just sitting here. I'm trying to get fucking Buffer to work.
Buffar?
Yeah.
Buffer?
I have to cut something else from the Buffer in order to get your promo for this show buffered. Wait a minute. Why do we have two of the same thing in here?
I don't know. Why do you have two of the same thing in here?
I don't know. I didn't even know you could fucking do that. That's weird. Why are you being weird, Buffer?
Why are you being
We're not even
weird?
gonna need your ass in a couple of weeks if you don't stop being weird. You gotta fucking adjust. Make yourself work for Blue Sky.
I haven't checked. You can add other things to it, so I don't know. Hey, but that's weeds. We're not talking about weeds. We're talking about
Pretty flowers.
things. We're talking about No Prize Podcast. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it's got like a decent rating.
Do you think people like the podcast?
I think I enjoy doing this podcast because it gives me an excuse to talk about all this shit with you, buddy. So doesn't really matter what people think.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah, we had we're doing two current shows.
Two
This
current
is different.
shows. More like nobody is watching Secret Invasion. Hey, we're nobodies.
I'd rather nobody be watching it than being constantly bombarded with shit takes like we've had to deal with all the other Disney Plus shows.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, we're episode 3 of Secret Invasion, and we're also going to talk after that about My Adventures with Superman, the premiere. But first off, Secret Invasion.
Let's talk about Betrayed. Let's talk about the greatest gift that the MMPR reversioning ever gave anybody.
Oh,
It's that GIF.
That one GIF.
That one GIF. That's the best. That's the most cultural impact Power Rangers has had since the original MMPR.
You know what? Let's rip off the Band-Aid. No, they didn't take off the intro. They faked me out for a little bit. I thought they did. And then it shows up like 10 minutes into the episode. And I'm like, come on.
It's so fucking bizarre, too, because like all the other shows, there's like an extensive intro sequence, and then maybe you get a title smash in the other episodes. Usually it's just like one long stream of shit.
It's weird.
But here it's formatted like an actual like primetime drama, so there has to be an intro break 10 minutes into the episode for dramatic effect. And yeah, it's gross. I don't like it. Get rid of that fucking intro.
Three strokes, you're out, Disney. You failed.
But we're still going to cover you because we need content.
We need content. But also, the rest of the show's pretty good.
Oh yeah, this is a good episode. I've been thoroughly enjoying this show so far.
Oh yeah. It is exactly what I want, which is poppy pulp spy.
Mm-hmm. It's very different from the usual kind of stuff we cover on this show, so I'm sort of unsure how to talk about it each week, but I am really enjoying it.
Oh yeah, because it's very much background show.
Mm-hmm.
Not in that you watch it in the background. It's a background of the world.
Like, yeah, we can talk about like, oh, they actually said Super Scrolls this week, and this other thing happened, but like, really, this show is more so about the character interplay and just seeing Samuel L. Jackson having prolonged conversations with these other actors.
Mm-hmm. It is like, hey, Samuel, we've given you a lot of nothing to do. Here you go. Here's a lot of character to chew on.
Mm-hmm. Here, make the name Bob as funny as you possibly can for 20 minutes.
All right, Bob.
Mm-hmm. Poor Bob's kid, by the way. His dad got fucking replaced by a scroll. He got traumatized, and then the scroll just got thrown in the back of a van. I don't think I don't think they even said anything about trying to find the real Bob. They're just like,
No.
fuck it.
Yeah. It is very much it is just very much Nick Fury at the end of, I wouldn't say his ropes, but just like end of giving a fuck.
Yeah.
He elaborate dramatic talk show. I
Hmm.
mean, some of the best acting is that kind of way of describing it,
Yeah. I mean, there's literally a scene in this episode where Talos makes him say, Talos, please, I need your help. I am nothing without you. Because he has no other choice. Nobody else will talk to him now.
Yeah, it's very much Nick Fury has used up all of his good graces because essentially he has went through all the goodwill he's built up because ultimately he let it all fall apart, and now he's realizing, shit, I let it all fall apart.
Even his fucking wife is like, dude, I thought you were dead. I fucking mourned you, and then you came back out of nowhere, and then you fucked off again. For like 2 years.
Yeah, like Nick Fury's never been a great guy, and this is just
Hmm.
kind of going like, yeah, no, he's kind of a piece of shit. But here's the thing: you want to know what would have been a bigger piece of shit? Comic book Nick Fury, because he would have sent a life model decoy to his wife.
Oh, yeah. And comic book Nick Fury is also a fucking white guy from the 40s who has very backwards ideas about things. And the comics would go out of their way to point that out sometimes.
Mhm. And I also think there's an element of, hold on, I got ice in my mouth right now.
Oh my god.
There's an element of Nick Fury is a black man, and like last episode really went hard into black men in positions of power and what they've tried to accomplish and all this kind of stuff. And like he is losing that power, and he's afraid of what would happen,
Hmm.
kind of thing. And that's interesting. But also you
Yeah.
have Talos in here going like, "Hey, you didn't do this alone," and acting as if you did is what caused a lot of this.
Yeah. And he's also being confronted by Gravik, who's going like, you were supposed to be our leader. You were supposed to be this great man who was gonna save our people. And really you just sent us all to fucking die while you hung back with the cool, powerful human that you made friends with.
Yeah. And just like we deserve, it's like there's a lot of little things, a lot of good little bits, a lot of great character moments.
Mhm.
It's a good show. It's a lot of talking though. It's a lot of subtle plot revelations of ultimately what happens in the show. This episode is just like, oh, they stopped one bomb that was meant to be a distraction for another thing.
Yeah. And it cost them Talos' daughter's life.
Uh, as far as we are aware, she could have transformed when she got shot and is still alive.
They showed the body. There was a wound in her chest. She transformed back. That's one where I'm like, yeah, she's probably dead, especially because of how much they focused in that one scene about like how much she's Talos's weak point. Like I think that being the last thing in the episode is meant to be like, oh, he's gonna go ballistic next week.
We don't know. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But we also got some Super Scroll because
A little bit.
Gravik uses some extremis.
Yeah, he's one of them big old lava boys when he wants to be.
Yeah. We are talking about the Kino show, Buster.
More than one thing can be Kino. Just because it's not your cup of tea doesn't mean it's not Kino.
But yeah, no, good. Oh, the fucking parlay scene
Yeah,
with Gravik and Talos, and all the people in the restaurant are fucking.
I like that scene except for the choice to have the big music sting. I was like, that's a little much.
Hey, Yeah, it's whatever. It's a choice.
Hmm.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
All right, Superman.
Uh, so I've seen a lot of very conflicting opinions about this show. I think a lot of people in the circles we travel in have been reacting to it very well, but some people in the circles I exclusively travel into have not been necessarily decrying it, but have been raising concerns. And then there's the usual like jock, dickhead, Snyder boy jackasses who are calling it garbage. And I think I'm kind of somewhere in the middle of all of it. I like it. I think it has a lot of good things going for it. I'm still not in love with this animation style, but there's some interesting choices here that I wasn't expecting, and a lot of the stuff that was shown to us in the trailers that I was excited by, I think worked really well in practice.
Mm. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really good.
Sick.
That also may just be I am used to schlocky animation from anime, so
Hmm. See, I will say part of it was like I have definitely seen worse, but at times the animation did make me go like, "Ooh, that's not great."
yeah. Uh, so this is just basically a bare, pretty simple, basic Superman origin story.
Hmm. See, that is one of the things, not necessarily his character model, but like wait, is Buster referencing Jor-El or Jonathan there?
Jor-El.
Okay. Yeah.
Jor-El was literally based off of Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Eye patch Jor-El doesn't bother me as much as it does seem to some people. I hope we get to know him at some point in the show rather than him just being a scary hologram man.
Well, I mean,
Um,
he yells in Kryptonian, and it's just like I get the feeling they were supposed that Superman's gonna go back and learn Kryptonian.
yeah. I will say though, I don't love the way they portray Jonathan in this show, where he's just kind of a joke. He just kind of pops in and out as a thing. Like there should be a little more gravitas to Jonathan. He should be a stronger influence on Clark and his personality. But I get that there's only so much time in the episode, and they wanted to focus a little bit more on Martha in this version.
Yeah, this feels very much the best way I can put it is it feels like it's a Superman cartoon made for a female demographic.
I could see that.
And not to say that like guys like us wouldn't enjoy it, but it's just more like we're making it for all ages, but let's put in some elements definitively for the female audience.
Let's gear it to the 2030 something female animation fan as well.
Yeah.
Because it
Like
does have a very modern anime like art style to it. Obviously, Lois is kind of framed more so as the main character than she is in some versions. She's less of like a thing for Clark to strive towards and more an equal to him.
mhm.
And she has a lot more of a outgoing, infectious personality than we've seen in other versions. And also, like Jimmy's personality is almost completely different than most versions, just to sort of update him and make him more like the kind of quirky character we would be familiar with in shows nowadays.
Oh yeah. And they update certain elements of Superman's character, which we've mentioned and people have joked about, like of an animator saying like every frame of Clark Kent needs to be kissable.
Hmm.
Like, it's like
Yeah, he's a big baby boy,
they
and
purposely went we need to make Clark hot for ladies.
mhm.
Like guys watching the show, Clark Kent is female gaze.
He doesn't look like a big muscle man. He looks like a big teddy bear.
And like he's kind, he's gentle, he understands his size and weight and all this kind of like that's
Hmm.
that this is a Superman that ladies want to swoon over.
Hmm. Jimmy still has the vibe of his old stuff. I agree the vibe is there, but like there's a lot less focus on just average best friend type, and it's more like, look at all the wacky shit and theories he has. Oh, he's trying to be a YouTuber. Isn't that silly? And it's like, I've seen that in a lot of things, and I don't necessarily love it for Jimmy Olsen, but I understand why in this take you would go there.
I can still totally see this Jimmy Olsen becoming a giant turtle.
That's true.
Like, that's the thing. If you can see a Jimmy Olsen becoming a giant turtle and, like, weirdo, all the weird shit that happens to him, that's a good Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, like, he's not even the biggest departure character-wise in this show, because, fucking Livewire is the villain of the first 2 episodes, and she's pretty much Livewire in name only.
She gets kind of live-wiry, I would say, near the end when her skin starts to turn blue.
Oh, yeah, she has the powers, but, like, her design is completely different than any Livewire I've seen before. I've never seen a version of Superman before where Livewire is a mercenary. More often than not, she's either a radio host or a content creator, and she's a lot more competent than usual. Or at least she thinks she does. She has a whole gang of goons where she's normally on her own. It was a huge departure from what we expect for a Livewire. And I know a lot of people saw that as a big negative. Once I kind of got where they were going with it, I was like, okay, as just like a throwaway first Superman villain, you don't necessarily have anything else to do with this character, and you want to use her to set up a bigger threat. That works. That's fine in this version. But
yeah, I was like, I wasn't like upset at like anything of like, oh, she feels completely different. It was much more of like, oh, her design is a little uninspired, and then she got the blue skin. I was like, all right, that's a little better.
Mm-hmm. There's also the fact that fucking Deathstroke shows up in the second episode, and he looks like fucking Sea Dog VA.
That is not a good design for Deathstroke. Character-wise, he's great. His action's great.
It's a good design for Deathstroke from the neck down. That man needs to put on a fucking mask. He is way too pretty.
Oh, yeah. No, he's way too young. He's too young.
I don't mind a young Deathstroke who's working his way up through the ranks at Cadmus. But
here's the thing.
You gotta get him to that place eventually.
Here's the thing. I don't think he should be close to age to Superman and all them. He needs to be a little bit older.
See, I don't mind it because I also think like this is a really young Superman. So like 10, 15 years on from now, when Robin's getting up there and going off to join the Teen Titans, he'd be about the right age for that version of Deathstroke.
Okay, I can see that math.
Yeah.
I mean, Deathstroke has one of the more iconic masks in comics.
True.
Lois. Great Lois.
Who knew all you had to do to make Lois relevant again was just make her lose Nocita.
Just make her tomboy girlfriend.
Yeah.
With
just for that outgoing, I'm gonna get the story and everybody telling me no doesn't matter energy.
Because like the 90s cartoon Lois had a vibe of that energy, but it was like, I need to prove myself.
Lois was also somewhat established at the planet in that show. Like,
yeah.
That was always the vibe of... Growing up, that was the vibe of Lois to me, is she's a little bit above Clark in the ranks at the planet, and she kind of lords that over him, and is like, just stick with me, Smallville, I know how to handle this. Whereas this is very much like, no, come on, we can do this together, come on!
I mean, she tries to do that of like, I'm the intern who's been here the longest, so I'm in charge. It's like, yeah, all right, sure.
Yeah, and that's really the arc of the first episode, is just establishing that these three are friends and are a team now.
Mm-hmm. And immediately they're smitten with each other.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Usually it takes a while to get to the Clark and Lois romance. Right away here it's like, nope, a lot of blushes in this episode, and Jimmy goes out of his way to go like, "Oh, you two want to fuck."
I genuinely appreciate that, like, she was already smitten with Clark.
Hmm.
That's what I appreciate.
Yeah.
And she shows no hint of romance for Superman. You know? It's just that she's
Yeah.
interested in Superman, but she likes Clark.
I could see it being an Oh, I think I might have just figured out an arc for this whole first season.
Mm.
She starts falling in love with Superman at the same time she's dating Clark and gets more and more conflicted. End of season cliffhanger is Clark goes, "Hey, I'm Superman."
Uh, okay. So overall, pretty good. You do the classic first Superman story of fighting giant robots.
Hmm.
Good Superman suit.
Yeah. I love that it is a Kryptonian thing, but then Martha goes like, "That shit's weird. Put on some fucking pants."
Second season's already confirmed. That's good. That's
It is, but it was also confirmed months ago before we knew the premiere date for the show. And also, we've had Warner Brothers Animation commission second seasons for things and then cancel them halfway through the first season airing. So I'm not getting my hopes up.
true.
I'm just trying to enjoy this as we go.
But it's good. It's solid. It's fun.
Hmm. Uh, and hey, big thing for Superman thing. Uh, the end of the first episode reveal isn't fucking Lex Luthor knows that Superman exists and he's pissed about him. It's Cadmus knows Superman exists and he's pissed about him.
Yeah, because we see Deathstroke and Amanda Waller.
Um, and I'm assuming that's General Eiding or Eiling. I forget what the guy's name is, but I think that army guy is supposed to be a general from the DCAU and probably the comics too, but I've never seen him in a
I
comic.
mean, I don't remember what his design looked like, but it could be fucked up and make it General Lane.
Mm, that's true.
Dad, what are you doing in Metropolis? I'm here to kill Superman.
General Lane with just like a big old kryptonite bazooka.
Uh, yeah, no. I also love how immediately Clark Kent moves to Metropolis and he already has people who just go like, "Oh, we got to take care of Clark."
Yeah, Clark's simple. He's from the country, but he means well, and he helps where he can. So we're gonna help him where we can.
Give him a bunch of
And
donuts and a bib.
the bib. I also really like the sound design of the show.
Mhm.
Like the music is very energetic and uplifting, and has like a nice little undertone of electric guitar to it.
Mhm.
Um, and the freaking flying sound effect. Did you realize what that was?
No.
It took a couple times for me. It's the fucking flying sound effect from the intro to the 50s George Reeves show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the fucking magical girl transformation.
Yeah, I saw some people getting upset about that, but like again, honestly, it's Superman for the female gaze. You
Yeah,
gotta come on with it.
they're gonna get hype over Sailor Moon and Precure.
Hmm. I get hype over Sailor Moon and Precure. I haven't even seen most of those things. And I'm like, through cultural osmosis, I know that. I see you animators, and I appreciate the reference.
The only thing I've like, it's just because of me. I would have loved to have heard her like Jor-El say something in Kryptonian that sounded like Henshin. Put a little common writer spice in there.
Ooh. I
Uh,
mean, we haven't heard anything about like other DC heroes showing up in this. But what if Batman shows up and he's just a fucking common rider?
Batman common writer would be cool. Flash common writer though.
Oh, I mean, I did used to joke like in that first season of the CW show that like his costume just looked like a early Heisei Kamen Rider costume, but with the mouth exposed.
Hmm. Heisei version of Rider Man confirmed.
Mhm.
Or you could always go with the classic Blue Beetle.
And if Blue Beetle showed up in this series, we would never hear the end of it from Buster.
Oh no, we wouldn't.
Even if it's Ted Cord, it would still be
What if
like,
it's the first Blue Beetle?
oh, fucking Dan Garrett.
Yeah, Dan the Man Gare.
That would be cool if they did like a episode where it's like Superman is a side character in like a new episode of a show we never saw, where Dan Garrett was Blue Beetle for a long time and now he's passing the mantle to Ted Cord.
Oh, that'd be fun. And Ted Cord is a billionaire, and he has an intern, who pokes at a scarab a little bit.
Mm.
All
Now
right.
we're just straight up writing the show for them.
I'd rather keep the show on Superman for now. Yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
just making jokes.
I don't want this to necessarily turn into a new DC animated universe. I'm fine with it just doing Superman stuff, at least for the first season. But like it's fun to spitball possibilities.
But also, you got to remember, Superman lives in a comic book universe.
Mm-hmm. Most modern interpretations of him tend to say like there was an age of heroes before Superman, but it was much more in the shadows. Superman is the guy who kickstarts heroes being a big thing in the DC universe that everybody knows about and interacts with.
You know what? I could see that being the final part of Superman, because, like, yeah, he gets the suit and saves Jemmy and Lois and saves the day and everything, but he's not Superman yet. He doesn't have that, like, resolve of, like, oh, I have this ability, I need to do good for others on, like,
Mhm.
just a more permanent basis. And, like, he goes back to the farm and goes, like, I don't know what to do, Dad. I have all this power. What should I do with it? And he just goes, like, you be a good man.
Yeah.
And because that also brings in, like, the simple man way that they've portrayed John so far. You bring it
Mhm.
around, you show that's intentional. He wants to be a good simple man. And also
Be a simple
but
kind of
but
man.
you also see where Clark gets it when you just see John, John acts.
Yeah.
It is very much Clark is his son. Hey, you ready for some news?
I am ready for all the news. Why don't you lay it on me there, Daddy-O?
So first things first, we got a deleted scene, The Fate of the High Evolutionary from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Rocket put him in a cell.
Yeah.
Drax rescued him from the burning ship, and then Rocket put him in a cell. And also, Kraglin thinks just calling yourself Adam is dumb.
Hmm.
I can see why that was cut from the movie, but it's cool to see it.
Yeah.
And it's cool that James Gunn also said, like, yeah, this is canon in my head.
Yeah. Totally fair. But also, MCU, you can make it totally canon in real life and just have the High Evolutionary come back. But this
A
time he has a
villain
metal face.
returning?
But also give him a metal face too. You could do it. You could totally do it, dudes. It'd be like totally cool and radical.
Wouldn't that be amazing if the fucking MCU got Destro right before a G.I. Joe movie did?
Jesus. You know, I watched the first G.I. Joe movie when I was a kid, and I
Yeah.
thought the guy who became Destro was going to turn into Cobra Commander.
I think everybody who didn't really know G.I. Joe did too. Because
And then-
like they say his name, and if you know G.I. Joe, you know that's Destro's real name. You know Destro owns Mars Industries all throughout the movie, but I think they were trying to build it in a way of like maybe you think, oh, he's going to become Cobra Commander in this version, and then they swerve you with Doctor Mindbender.
All right. Hey, guess what?
What?
We got some Deadpool 3 set photos showing Ryan Reynolds in costume.
Hmm. Oh my God, Ryan Reynolds in the MCU. What does his Deadpool look like? How amazing and different is it?
It's Deadpool.
Yeah, the pouches are slightly different. There's a little bit, the red is slightly brighter. There's like a slightly different positioning to how the shoulders are laid out, but like it's basically the same costume, folks. I don't see why everybody was flipping out about this on social media.
Yeah. The
Uh,
mask looks nice. It has more texture on it. It has some ridges.
yeah. I suppose I could also mention, like, hey, a trusted Hollywood insider did report the day these photos came out of like uh, Hugh Jackman will indeed be wearing the yellow and blue tiger stripe costume with the mask in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that it looks very close to astonishing. But like, pics or it didn't happen.
Uh, on the same vein, Jennifer Gardner is returning as Elektra. They're just giving a giant farewell to the Fox Marvel content.
Yeah. This leaked. And then like 2 hours later, Ryan Reynolds was like, "Yeah, that's happening."
I guess it's kind of nice to see movie suits getting brighter as opposed to the pseudo realism style. That's the thing
Yeah.
with the MCU though. Is like it starts off as like the paramilitary ultimate comic style, and then as
Mhm.
time has gone on, we have just gotten more and more comic accurate costumes.
Yeah, the one time they didn't do that was Captain America, where like they got really goofy and bright with it in Avengers
Avengers.
2012, and then they kept pulling it back after that because everybody didn't like that suit because everybody's fucking stupid. That suit was awesome.
I think that suit needed a little bit more, just a tiny bit more.
It could have used a tiny bit more. I don't disagree, but I thought it looked really good.
I think it could have used the scales on the top. That's
Yeah, if they had worked that in somehow, that would have been brilliant.
yeah. But like I would say the Nomad costume was good.
The Nomad costume was good. Oh, you want to know what I fucking found at Ollie's for $8 the other day?
Ooh, what?
The fucking Nomad costume.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't normally buy movie stuff, but this is a $30 figure for $8. I couldn't say no to that.
Hell yeah. Nomad was just a good fuck. Like I love how they made the Nomad arc without doing the Nomad arc.
It was $8, Buster.
8.
I don't know how that came off as 30 for my mic, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Shang-Chi 2. I don't know why it says disappointing update. It's an understandable update. It's not happening till after King's Dynasty.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's just a little like, well, Shang-Chi 1 did buku bucks. Why aren't you making number 2 next year? And it's like, shit's got to happen. Marvel has a schedule. They work this shit out way in advance.
Also,
So.
if they immediately jumped on a sequel, everyone would be bitching and moaning of like, "Oh, it's too soon for a sequel. Oh, they're rushing it. It's not going to be as good."
Yeah, they're gonna find the place where it fits naturally. And also like it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not like you're never gonna see Simu Liu as Shang-Chi before Shang-Chi 2 comes out. He's probably gonna be in Kang Dynasty and cameo and a couple of other things.
Oh, very much so. Also, dear God, is this the first news story that broke on fucking Threads?
I guess so.
Fucking
At least for
gross.
this show.
Fucking gross.
Yeah, we don't like Freds, by the way. Modular Me is not going to be on Freds.
Uh,
Listen to Components on Friday if you want to know more about that.
Avengers King's Dynasty also has Shang-Chi's director. Yeah, he's already busy.
Ooh.
Well, they're already
Yeah.
busy. I don't know the gender of Shang-Chi's director. Hey, guess what? Sony's still gonna Sony.
Oh, hey, Buster, I bet you're real excited about this.
Look, it's Silk. Everyone's.
There's going to be a Silk movie, Buster.
I mean, people do like Silk, but after
Yeah.
after cleaning up all the shit that like who made Silk? Was it Dan Slott or Brian Michael Bendis?
Dan Slott created Silk, and then somebody else came in and made all the stuff people like about Silk.
Okay. They got rid of all the slot isms.
Uh-huh. They filled in all the slots, you could say.
But hey, it's moving forward after the writer's strike. All right, cool. Hope the
Yeah.
people who work on it get paid.
Speaking of moving forward after the writer's strike,
Constantine 2 is going to continue after the writer's strike.
yeah, according Kiva Goldsman did an interview recently for something. I don't know fucking know what. I just know that this article came out. Apparently, Akiva Goldsman has already talked about ideas for the movie with Keanu Reeves, and they were going to start writing the movie the day the writer's strike happened.
That's why we haven't heard much about it, Buster.
Yeah.
It's just like everything fell apart.
They were literally in the concept stage, and then everything just went.
Yeah. They just decided to stabby. But hey, that's all for adaptation and movie news. Are you ready for some comic book news?
Yeah, pretty light on comic news this week, but we got a little bit.
We got this fucking thing. Hey, Mary Jane Watson's finally gonna become Jackpot, everybody.
Hey, fucking 20 years too late.
After a fucking dumb twist that I don't think anybody liked.
Yeah. This is technically not Zebwell's nonsense. I mean, this costume is. But, like, oh god, I forget the name, but the guy who was doing all those Black Cat minis that everybody liked.
Yeah.
He did a Black Cat and Mary Jane mini in the middle of fucking
Dark Web.
The dark web. And in that, Mary Jane got powers.
No, she already had. Oh no, you know the fucked up part? She already had powers from the fucking weirdo Paul dimension.
Oh, so she just remembered or brought up that she had them in that.
Yeah.
And now, as a result of that, she is going to become Jackpot, which is a mantle from back during the Brand New Day period that was a new villain they introduced that was teased for a long time about maybe it's Mary Jane. I mean, she's a redhead. She's called Jackpot, but she's wearing a mask, so Spider-Man doesn't know. Until finally they went, nah, it's some fucking lady we've never met before.
Was she a villain? I thought she was an anti-hero.
She might have been an anti-hero. I haven't actually read that fucking stuff. I just read the wiki.
Because, like, if I remember right, her costume was kind of like a Marvel Girl mask.
Yeah, it was green. I remember that.
A green jumpsuit with bell bottoms. And a belt with 3 sevens on it. Like a belt buckle.
Yeah. But they're finally going like, hey, why don't we give that... we never did anything with that mantle of real consequence. Why don't we just fucking give it to Mary Jane already? Because Spider-Man writers will literally do anything except just have Peter and MJ get married and have a kid, and maybe she gets spider powers too.
Here's the thing. I don't mind her not having spider powers. She can have Jackpot powers. That's fine. Just get him married and have him a kid.
Yeah.
The costume's okay.
It is aggressively okay. I mean, I'll say this about it. It's going to be very easy to be made into a Marvel Legends. Yeah.
Like, people were clowning on it and saying, like, oh, fucking shitty Harley Quinn. It's like, I get what you're saying, guys, but, like, those are slots. Those are slots from a slot machine. Well, everybody hates comics, that shall not stand for it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, we're not talking about the Spider-Man comics on this show anymore, so...
Yeah, let's move on from this. Let's get into some SDCC news, because SDCC is in 2 fucking weeks! God, that snuck up on me. Marvel announced their panel lineup for the show. They've got 6 different panels happening, but the only 2 you really need to know about are... If I can find them...
Yeah. I don't want to subscribe to your newsletter, fuckheads.
Yeah, that's not optimal. Shit, I should have opened this and checked. Okay, so on
X-Men?
Saturday, yes, the X-Men panel and Next Big Thing, which is essentially everything else. That's going to be where they're going to be revealing details about stuff going on with Spider-Man, stuff going on with Captain America, Guardians, and whatever the fuck Hickman is doing.
No, I'm actually looking at it. X-Men, this week in Marvel special event, Marvel and Proco Teach, Art of Storytelling. Friday, Heroes, Hulks, and Super Soldiers. Marvel
Hmm.
Fanfare with CB Sabluski. Marvel Multiverse Role Playing Game Live Play. Oh, that'd be neat.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the ones that news are going to come
Yeah,
out
next big
of.
thing.
Yeah.
Women of Marvel. All right.
Mhm. So important to just I don't know, maybe fucking at me on Twitter when those panels are happening because it's always a fucking pain in the ass trying to find specific news out of SDCC.
Yeah, X-Men and the rest. Yeah, welcome to Marvel. That's how Marvel's been operating since the 70s, baby.
Hmm. You muties go over here in your special little corner where all your weird drama can happen.
And you become the best-selling books that everyone always talks about. There's a reason people got upset when they de-emphasized the X-Men in the 2010s.
Yeah.
Jesus, what happened to this website? Why is it so
Oh,
big?
I don't know. It doesn't normally look that big. I think you're zoomed in, but
Yeah, they're doing a panel for Transformers and G.I. Joe and the Energon universe with Skybound.
yeah, all the writers and artists are going to be there. We're probably not going to get a lot of really new, like, oh my god, kind of information, but there's probably going to be some interesting tidbits out of this one.
Oh, but we got some things. Robert Kirkman, Void Rivals, Daniel Warren Johnson for Transformers, Joshua Williamson for Duke and Cobra Commander, and
Hmm.
Sean Mekowitz, SVC publisher for Skybound.
Yeah, those are all the boys. All the boys we already knew were on these books. They'll be there talking about the books.
I did not see him draw Snake Eyes. That's cool.
Yeah, he did. He did a live. He does a live show every Friday. I didn't have time to watch it this week, but I did see Snake Eyes in the thumbnail, so I want to check that out at some
Nice.
point.
Hugo Awards nominated Supergirl for an award.
Yeah, because the Hugo Awards has a category specifically, like they have a really fancy flowery term for it, but they have a category that is specifically best comic of the year. And Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, Saga, and
I'm looking
uh
at it. Saga, Once and Future, Monstrous, Dune, Cyberpunk 2077, a comic they did, and Christoph Osterwitzky are all
mhm,
the books they nominated for graphic story or comic.
yeah. Honestly, knowing these award shows, either Saga or Supergirl is gonna win.
Yeah.
But y'all know I'm pulling for Supergirl.
Yeah. All right. And we got some toy news. Wolverine Uncanny X-Men edition from Mezco.
Yep. This is a Mezco store exclusive. It sold out in 20 minutes
Mm.
because that's how 112 Collective stuff goes. It's essentially the same as their deluxe classic costume Wolverine, but it's the Strike Force costume, and there's slightly less accessories. But all the accessories in this you could have gotten with the deluxe one. Except I think the unmasked head with like the skin peeled back showing the adamantium, I think that's new, but don't quote me on that because that deluxe one came with a lot of shit.
It looks good, but it's a Mezco, which is like affordable hot
$120 for
toys.
this.
It's like affordable hot toys.
Yeah. It's hot toys that are the same size as Marvel Legends, which is cool. I like that, but I don't need that for every character.
No. 97 Hasbro, we are getting a bunch of kids' toys for the revival of the cartoon. We got Sentinel.
Yeah, this showed up because I think it went up for pre-order somewhere this week, like Amazon or something like that. But looks really cool. Nice basic Sentinel toy for the kiddies.
Yeah.
It is in scale with that line, which is to say that line is like a 5-inch figure line, and this is going to be 12 inches tall. Yeah, if you really need like some cheap Sentinel army builders, you missed out on the HasLab and you don't want to track down the Marvel Universe one, here is yet another option for you for Sentinels in a Marvel Legends display as well. But like leave some
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yeah. But it looks cool.
Yeah.
McFarlane Toys, Hush Superman, and Robin Reborn Tim Drake. Look at these guys.
Yeah, these both got announced a while ago, but they went up for pre-order this week, which means we got all the pretty promotional images that show every possible thing you could want to see. This is Tim Drake, directly based on his classic, iconic Robin costume from his first miniseries. It looks fine. I'm not in love with it. I especially don't like that. I've seen some pictures of the other version of this they put out in like the more modern, and I say modern, it's like early 2000s red Robin colors that he had this costume in. This body is way too tall for a young Tim.
Mhm.
Uh, it needs to be like a head and a half shorter. This Superman, it's perfectly fine Superman sculpt. I get the reuse, but I think it looks a little pale.
I can see
Uh,
that.
it's it's Todd has never done a Superman that seems quite right to me as like a good generic classic Superman. But at the same time, this is very specifically meant to be Superman as he appears in Batman Hush, so not the end of the world.
Know what I would love to see him try and do? A Christopher Reeves Superman.
Mm.
All right, we got 89 Batmobile and Batman Gold Label. Look at these.
Yeah, so we talked about them teasing this last week or the week before that, I forget which. This is essentially the same sculpt as the Flash movie Batmobile, but instead of gold, it has silver in places where appropriate, and the finish on it is a lot more matte, whereas there was a glossy finish on the Flash version. It still has the inaccurate cockpit, but like I wouldn't expect them to completely re-engineer that. And the Keaton Batman, it is a new sculpt. It's a lot closer to how he looked in Batman 1989. It's not perfect. It's not like NECA Hot Toys 100% on point. But for the price you're paying for this, which is $60 for a huge ass Batmobile and a 7-inch tall Batman figure, I think it's fair enough.
It's fine.
Mhm.
It does exactly what it says. Will do.
Yeah.
Uh, Glow in the Dark Gold Label. John Stewart and Swamp Thing. Look at these guys.
Yeah, these are pretty old, like almost 2 years old at this point. DC Multiverse figures that they're just re-releasing as glow in the dark versions. Hey, Nightmare, welcome to the show.
We're talking about glow in the dark shit. Look at these guys. They glow
Yeah.
in the dark.
I do think it's a very smart choice to do a Green Lantern as one of these. I actually think maybe they should re-release all their Green Lanterns in this gimmick if they're going to keep it up. Swamp Thing I could definitely take or leave though.
I can totally understand doing Swamp Thing though too, because it's like, oh, he's already green. He wouldn't look that weird.
Hmm.
It's good. It's classic. He's weird and ethereal. It's a good looking Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I always liked their Swamp Thing sculpt. I almost bought it a couple of times because it was at my Target for a while. I just never got around to it because there was always other stuff I wanted. Um, but yeah, these are perfectly serviceable reuses. I mean, it's a repaint that makes sense. And if you're into glow in the dark, you're going to want to get it. If you're a completionist, you're going to want to get it. But if you're not, you don't need to get this.
So have you sent this to Cody?
I kind of just assumed he saw it, but I don't know how closely he follows DC figure news, so maybe I'll send it to him in the morning.
They should do a Green Lantern ring. There's companies that make Green Lantern rings.
Oh yeah, there's you want a Green Lantern ring, you can fucking get one, but Todd should still probably do one.
We also get in a classic Riddler. Look at this guy.
Yeah, classic onesie Riddler. This is not my version of Riddler at all. I much prefer him in a suit. But I understand there's probably people who do really like this version of classic comic book Riddler, and I do appreciate how well they did it here. The printing on the question marks looks very clean. I'm impressed he can get into that pose, and the extra little touch of green shading in the hair is nice.
It's not green. It's blue, like how they would
Oh,
do.
yeah.
See?
Yeah, that looks right off the page, actually. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
right off the page. Right
Yeah.
off the page.
Yeah, so
I'm
we'll
Jerry
probably get full.
Seinfeld. What's the deal with modern comics? They won't let Peter Parker and Mary Jane fuck.
We'll probably get full solicitations
Whoa.
for this and everything else Todd is doing for the next 6 months at SDCC. So, hey, everybody, be excited.
Hey, keep a secret.
We'll see. There you go, Damon. It's perfectly for you.
Judge Dredd, Hiya Toys. We getting Judge Dredd, Death.
Yeah, this is the next figure in their 6-inch line. They are going right to Judge Death to go along with the Judge Dredd we looked at. I think a month and a half ago they announced that.
Yeah.
And it's very much in line with the Judge Dredd. It does look very similar to the 3 3/4 inch one, but it has a cloth bodysuit. And it's coming with a shit ton of stuff, like a bunch of alternate hands, a bunch of little accessories that I'm assuming are specific references to things,
Yeah.
alternate faces, an alternate screaming head, like an alternate tendril hand, and a base, and a little box to keep all the accessories in too. And it's $90.
Yeah. Not bad though.
Yeah,
It's just
it looks great. It looks really good, but like as somebody who only kind of knows Judge Dredd, this is not something I would ever spend $90 on.
oh yo, it comes with a fucking ghost tail, so you can put a head on
Oh, is that
it.
what it is? I thought that was like an alternate tendril arm.
No, I think unless he uses it as like an accessory in here, I don't remember it. No, I think you put a head on that, and it's like his ghost form that goes and possess people to turn them into this zombie motherfucker.
Oh, that's cool.
Because that's how Judge Death works: is he possesses someone, and he turns their body into a decrepit zombie.
Oh, all right. See, I literally only know Dredd and Anderson.
I think all of the evil judges do that. The four of them.
Yeah. I will say, like, I mean, as characters, like, I know a lot of Judge Dredd designs. I wouldn't mind owning, say, a Judge Fear figure, just because that's a rad design.
All right. So, I guess we're just diving into the horny, Vac?
I mean, it's comic news. What do you want?
Coffin Comics Legacy Series action figures.
Longtime viewers of the show will remember we talked about the first wave of this when it got announced, which was Red Sonja, Vampirella, and another fucking lady whose name I can't remember. This is just more of that. This is that same body, but being used for other Coffin Comics horny ladies, because that's Lady Death. How could I forget? But yeah, that's how Coffin Comics rolls. They put fucking scary ladies in the horniest costumes imaginable.
Yeah, this is peak American comic horny.
Yeah, like especially that lady. That is the blonde. She is literally just Emma Frost, but with a Moon Knight motif.
Oh yeah.
I will say I do like the Mexican skeleton looking lady. She looks like a good Thunder Rosa stand-in.
Yeah. It's cool.
But
they really depicted that belly button.
Yeah. They have said this is the last set of figures that is going to use this mold. They're going to be doing something different for the next wave. But beyond that, I don't really know. I'm not super familiar with Coffin Comics. I had to look up who all three of these ladies were. Like, I looked at this lady and I literally went like, that just looks like female Damien Hellstrom. And then I looked her up. It's literally a gender-bent Damien Hellstrom kind of character.
Yeah. Hey, you want a superhero that you can jack off to?
Here you go.
Here you go.
Please be excited.
It's weird how like it's a little it's a little bit more shameful to like acknowledge Western comic horny comics, you know?
Yeah, like that and Fathom and what's the one that does like the Little Red Riding Hood comics?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, those whenever I see those in the store, I'm like, if I had found this when I was 14, this would have been amazing. But now I need to put this at the back of the long box and walk away slowly.
Vampirella, Stripperella,
Barbarella,
which was made by Stan Lee. Stripperella, created by Stan Lee.
Stan Lee, everybody.
Stan Lee, everybody. Hey, you ready to talk about comics?
I am. I'm ready to talk about comics at 11:30. Look at that.
Hey, we're making an okay time.
Yeah.
We're making a good time. Hey, guess what?
What's up?
Deadpool.
What happened in Deadpool?
Well, he's continually fighting off assassins, but here's the thing. He gets woken up by his daughter.
Oh.
I'm being hailed.
Oh no!
Hold on a moment. Keep them
Oh
entertained.
fuck! He couldn't even put me on a comic I read. Wow, Jesus. Uh, so hey everybody, here's a topic. Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Why don't you discuss that amongst yourselves? Bongo! I guess I could backtrack. There is one point I just realized I never really got to with My Adventures of Superman. Saw a tweet going around earlier today of like a guy complaining that the show opens with Clark like discovering his powers at 10, and then it cuts to him at 20 and he's still having issues controlling them. And he's like, well, Clark had friggin' 10 years to get his powers under control and figure it out. He should have been training all that time. I'm like, motherfucker, do you really expect Clark goddamn Kent to be on the Sigma grind sets? That shit's not gonna happen, okay? It's just not. Like, it's perfectly understandable that Clark would still be discovering powers into his 20s, even into his 30s, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just somebody who actually fucking reads comics. Didn't read this comic. Haven't been reading this Deadpool run. Boingo likes it. Didn't make a great first impression on me. So I'm too far behind now to catch up, even though Boingo's told me some interesting things. Maybe I'll read it in trade one day. It's kind of how it goes sometimes. Boingo! Uh, I don't know. I don't know what I can talk about. I gotta go to the DMV tomorrow. I'm not looking that forward to that. That's gonna suck. But usually doing this show doesn't suck. It's just you know, Bongo! I don't know. So yeah, exactly, Damon. He was preoccupied, stressing about the new internship, and he wasn't necessarily thinking about controlling his powers at that point. Like my dude, you ever have a case of the dropsies? Sometimes shit just happens with your body, and you go, "Oh shit! Oh fuck! I wasn't paying attention." And that's kind of what that scene is supposed to be. I think. I don't know. I didn't animate it, or direct it, or write it, or even really have anything to do with it. I just watched it and now I'm talking about it on YouTube like I know things. Because that's how our generation processes media we enjoy. Isn't that funny? Our parents just used to sit down, watch an episode of something, go to bed, get up, go to work the next day, maybe mention to a guy that they're friends with at work that they had watched it while on lunch the next day, but not really think about it beyond that. And yet here we are, devoting entire live podcasts to discussing the latest fucking Marvel, DC, Disney, Warner Brothers product. Is the human race really improving at all? That's something I wonder about quite regularly. Because I don't think the answer is going to make me happy. Because there is no real answer. I'm never going to know. I'm never going to see how things exactly lay out. I'm just going to be sitting here in this moment, prolonging the live content and occasionally going bongo. And just hoping that we get through it. Man, it would have been so lucky if that hail had hit while we were in the middle of that news story, so we could have just gone like, we're gonna take a break in between comics and news because we're clever like
Hello.
that. We're gonna take a piss break. Hey, welcome back, buddy. Oh my god,
Hello there. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I
All right.
think I filled that time well. I don't know.
So, Deadpool. He gets woken up in bed by his daughter. He looks at his hands; they're completely healed. He looks in the mirror. His face is normal, and he's immediately like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Is he also immediately like, oh, this is a dream sequence?
Oh, he's very suspicious, but he doesn't verbalize it because he walks out into the kitchen, and Cable is making pancakes.
Fucking okay.
Wolverine is setting bacon on the table. Spider-Man is stealing some bacon off the plate, and Domino is drinking coffee.
What fucking team is this?
He immediately questions it, and Wolverine goes, "What? It's our Saturday morning tradition." And
Bruh.
Deadpool is immediately like, "Yeah, none of this is real. They all hate me." And they're like, "Ah, fuck. All right, guess we gotta kill you." And then it's just a fucking big dumb chase, and it's fun.
All right.
Deadpool gets hit with some knives that like stop his healing factor because his girlfriend made a poison before they met to stop it. And like as they're both like almost passing out, she injects him with something to fix it, hopefully. So that's kind of how the book is. Also, there's a cute moment because his face is like healed technically. It's like
Yeah.
what he would normally look like. He meets the girlfriend Valentina, and he goes like, "Hey," and she goes like, "Hey, is this what you look like?" And he goes like, "Yeah, on a good day." And he goes like, "Yeah, I understand if you'd rather have this than what I normally look like." And she goes like, "No," and she rips it off and goes like, "There's my boy." And it's just
Hey.
like, oh, that gets you with the heart. That's Deadpool. That's the
Body
heart.
positivity in a Deadpool comic.
Remember, Deadpool's disabled. He's under a lot of pain. Yeah, Deadpool's good. I gotta click the thing. We both read X-Men number 24.
Oh boy, this issue was a lot.
Remember how we were wondering, oh man, what happened to Cyclops and Jean Grey for him to go to Emma Frost and go like, hey, rebound bang?
Yeah, they're splitting up. They're straight up splitting up.
Like it is very much like we are in different places in our lives right now. We cannot be together, but the minute we can be in the same place in our lives, we're together again. It's very much like we're taking a break.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very understandable break.
Gene is going to be exclusively sleeping in Logan's room for a while.
Because the big argument is Jean's like, hey, you know you're super proud of the treehouse and everything. It's really cool. I made an entire planet and you haven't visited once. What's up with that?
I don't want us to get chased into space and not have domain on the planet that we were birthed on and that we're supposed to inherit,
I
supposedly.
don't want to give them an excuse to exile us.
Yeah. And it's like valid, but also that's extremely paranoid.
But extremely paranoid is Cyclops' middle name.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like recently the comics have been going in a direction of just like showing the negative side of that, not necessarily saying like, oh, Cyclops should become a bad guy again because that was fucking stupid, but just showing like he can go a little bit far in some places.
But even then, you understand his hesitancy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Especially because Young Cable back.
I was so excited for like free panels, and then they immediately went like, "Nah, fuck you."
We're putting you on ice because you'd be annoying if you weren't.
And he's only here just so the villains can go, "Oh, so there's a high likelihood our plan will succeed. Thanks, future boy."
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
But you like it works so well. You have a bunch of different elements. Polaris is still sleeping in the treehouse because she's grieving Magneto, which I think is adorable. Not the grieving, but like the fact that they're just like, hey, you're not an X-Men right now, but you can just stay with us.
Yeah. You need somebody to keep an eye on.
And it's also just wrapped around a fun fucking one-off battle with a bad guy.
Yeah, big old Pog fight. It's hard for me to say his name sometimes, but God, that design is awesome.
Oh yeah, it's great. Overall, great issue.
Yeah, this is the kind of X-Men comics I like.
Duggan does not miss.
Duggan has been doing a great job on the main X book.
Mm-hmm. On to the next one. Next book we both read. Adventures of John Kent Superman. Continuation of the Injustice saga.
Yeah, just do fucking more injustice for you. Do you like injustice? Here's more injustice.
But this time with John Kent. So he can be the person in the audience yelling, all of you are assholes.
This is wrong. What are you doing? I'm gonna go talk to the Resistance and find out both sides of the story and go like, oh shit. Guess I gotta portray my not dad. And then that gets fucked.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's very much I'm in it for John's reaction. I'm not in this for injustice.
It's interesting because, like, on the one hand, I'm enjoying it as somebody who read the Injustice comics, and like I enjoy parts of John's reactions. I liked seeing him interact with these versions of Jonathan and Martha.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't love the interaction with Harley Quinn, just because like he's immediately like, yeah, I'm not gonna forgive you. I you don't deserve forgiveness yet. You have to work for that. And I'm like, well, yeah, I feel that way, but I don't know if John Kent would feel that way. That's
Here's
a little too vindictive for John Kent to me.
I don't think it's necessarily like. I think it's in John's opinion, it's not his place to forgive her.
Mm.
You know, like you hurt people. I can't absolve you of that. All you can do is just work to be better. You know?
I suppose I could see it that way.
It's fun though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when this whole thing started with Ultraman coming in and threatening to kill his dad?
Yeah. Remember when Ultraman was alive in the DC multiverse? Who out there is fucking... there's got to be like some 40-year-old who's fucking pissed that Injustice Superman just moved to Ultraman.
We got to know one. He's called Blazer.
Yeah.
Tokusatsu. We both read Captain America 750 Celebration issue.
So I know I've raised a stink on this show about the milestone. Here's a bunch of short stories format before. This is a case where I'm fine with it because every single one of these short stories slammed.
Well, here's the other thing. All of them felt relevant to the story they've been telling. It's Sam going like reconciling with being Captain America of like, I don't want to pick up the shield because I don't want to lose it again.
Yeah, we get a flashback story that shows how Sam got to a place where he could be Captain America again, and like this really interesting argument between him and Misty Knight about it, and also the explanation of why he has his own vibranium shield now. and which you don't necessarily need, but as the nitpicky lore hound comic book fan, you love getting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have like a ultra current tied into what we've been doing in the comics story of just here's Roger's funeral, and it's fucking sad and touching and deep and just perfect.
I love the fucking socialist friend that Steve Rogers has, and it's like we got it, we're gonna go say hello to Cap's comrades. He calls them friends, buddy.
Yeah.
I thought that is a dumb joke. I thought it was cute.
The
Also,
poem.
Sharon becomes a new destroyer,
Yep, and Redacted becomes the new Nomad.
which I appreciate. It's like that's cool. Let this guy become his own man.
Mm-hmm. Also, the
Though I will
fucking
say, Redacted's too good of a name to not use again.
yeah. Uh, the poem Steve reads
Mm.
that fucking got me in a place, man. I teared up reading that. And then the latest confrontation with Bucky.
And it's like you understand. They're it's so good. All of it's good.
Mm-hmm. And then we get little short story about Sam's time on the Avengers.
Oh
We
yeah,
get
of like how he was on the Avenger as Falcon, and he quit because he wanted to prove it to himself that he could get in, not through any other means other than his own power.
yep. And then we get a little flashback story about a friend Steve had as a kid who just happened to be gay.
A gay Jewish man, and like just really sending home of what Steve Rogers is as a character of just like, no, all people have deserve to live with dignity, but live with dignity by their own metric.
Mm-hmm. And then we have a friggin' story of Jarvis talking about how much it means to be making Captain America's lunch to him.
And just like the way that they frame, like people misunderstand Steve being a man out of time. It's not that he's prejudiced or that he would look at anybody wrong or he'd be racist or anything. It's
Yeah.
no, he's a simple man with simple wants, and the modern world moves too fast sometimes, and he wants to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Remember when there were all those fucking MCU Captain America memes about him being weirded out about black people sitting in the same restaurant as him? Fuck that.
Fuck that.
Then we get a fun little short story about just Steve and Sam talking about how much the mantle means to them.
Yeah. Overall, this is like peak Captain America, just understanding like what it means to like fight for the better tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Especially because the final story is just a wholesome little some kids find Cap's shield after he loses it. They play with it in the snow, and then he shows up, or then a villain shows up trying to steal it. Cap saves them and goes like, "Hey, can I have it back?" And they're like, "Can we get a picture?"
Yeah, it's just like it's adorable because it's like that's Steve would have let them use that any for a sled anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's, man, imagine Steve Rogers with Superman's powers. How
If you
much
just
better the Marvel universe would be.
if you just need one issue that shows you the appeal of modern Captain America comics, this is a perfect just pick this up, pour over this, and you don't have to have read much else to really get it.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America, fucking good.
Book of the week.
Book of the week. I read Venom number 22.
How's that going?
Okay, so the plot lines are starting to converge.
Hooray!
And they finally just laid out in plain text what Dylan's been doing.
Cool.
He is running around as Codex, breaking symbiotes from the hive mind to create a hit squad to go save Eddie and be undetected.
Hmm.
That's the plan. That's what Venom and Dylan Brock are doing. And basically,
Legit.
this issue is just them dealing with another symbiote. This one has like connections to Doom and is kind of like robot themed. So it's just a big punch 'em up with Venom and cool. He disguises himself as Iron Man, which is adorable because he looks like a robot. And it's just like, hi, I'm Iron Man. This is Mark. Number? Don't worry, citizens. Do you think they bought it? Short kid.
Big we're fine. Everything's fine here. How are you, energy?
Like there's a door there, and there's a cute moment where where Dylan just goes like, "I'm going to use a brand new liquid repulsor beam," and the Venom symbiote's going like, "What the fuck are you? Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, sure, I can do that real quick." He lifts up his hand, and it's just a giant tidal wave of web fluid. But that fucks him over because the Venom symbiote goes like, "Yeah, we don't have any more web fluid anymore. So you just gotta punch this guy."
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, sounds neat.
Yeah. You Red Night Terrors First Blood.
Yeah, so this was the first week of Night Terrors. This came out as well as a bunch of one shots, and a couple like first issues of minis that are tie-ins. And I've heard some interesting things about some of the one shots and minis, but I read this because I wanted to start off with the main story. And I got about 10 pages into this, and I just went, yeah, this one's just not for me, fam. It is in an art style I do not care for. It is very much playing with obscure lore that I've never heard of before. And it is very much, yeah, we're doing a horror event in July. Get with it or get over it. And you know what? I'm gonna get over it and I'm gonna get out. I'm just gonna let this happen. I'm just gonna stand back and I'll look at the summaries and the best sets of pages on Tumblr.
All right, fair enough, my dude. We both read the final issue of Clobbering Time.
Ah man, I'm gonna hate not getting to look forward to this book anymore.
This is just big dumb fun. Just a lot of just punching.
Yep.
A lot of just making fun of the bad guy.
A lot of very goofy pseudo meta jokes.
Yeah.
And just wrapping up this big bombastic plot and then leaving the characters in a fun place.
Also fucking Tuva 2 being a bum roommate to Ben and Alicia.
Yeah.
That's fucking cute.
I wonder what happened to him. Did he disappear with the kids in the Baxter building?
I don't know. That'd be something to look into.
Yeah. I don't think the writers were thinking about that, though.
No. Tuva 2's great, though. I like Tuva 2. I hope he comes back.
Yeah. We're probably the only people who would say that, because a lot of people are like, Tuba 2's fucking weird, give me a Watu.
Like, he's meant to be weird. He's meant to be like, yo, what if Uatu fucking played Call of Duty?
Yeah.
that's the dude. Yeah, Clobber Time's great. Give it a read.
It's over now. It's only 5 issues. Go read it if you haven't.
Yeah. I read Daredevil and Echo.
Hey, how's that been going?
It's good. It's basically like Daredevil and Echo have to deal with a fucking mystery. And this was just them getting clues.
Is this current or is this set during another period of time? I forget.
I don't want to say it's current. I think part of me wants to say this is like, I don't know. I don't even think they've mentioned if like Echo was on the Avengers or not.
So it's maybe just meant to be more like evergreen.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of meant to be evergreen to tie in with the Echo show that is delayed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just basically like, oh, we're getting clues for the mystery. That's this issue.
Marvel's really got to stop trying to do that. Be like, here's a Falcon and Winter Soldier comic that's out a year before the show. Okay, here's a U.S. Agent comic that's out 3 months before the show.
But this is fine. It's good. If you want more Daredevil, you get more Daredevil. It's not Chip's Daredevil, but it's still Daredevil. Carnage Reigns! Omega issue!
The finale was fine.
It was fine. They beat Carnage. Or
It's
did they?
it's just the natural and big bang up mashup splody time. They beat him. Everybody kind of goes their separate ways, and you can enjoy your books returning to their regularly scheduled programming next month.
Yeah. Though, there's a cute moment where Scorpion goes, hey, if we're working with Iron Man, does that make us Avengers? Which is cute.
And I think the thing that would have made me really like that is if Tony just turned around and goes, "Sure, why the fuck not? Sandman was an Avenger once."
Wait, Sandy was an Avenger? I don't remember that.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about it.
Alright. It's fine though. It's good book. We both read Vanish issue 8. Which I think
Is this supposed to be the finale, or is this just like this is the end of this arc?
I think this is the finale.
Damn.
Um,
Because like it is a natural conclusion, it makes sense, but boy, is it a bittersweet ending.
yeah, because basically the dude beats all the evil wizards that were around, and then the evil Voldemort dude in his head goes like, "All right, cool, let's go fucking take over the world. Let's go fucking rebuild shit. It's ours now." And his wife comes in and goes like, "Hey, you don't do that. Come home."
Yeah, you can resist. Just let go. Just come with me. And he's like, I don't want to fight anymore. I don't want to have to try anymore. My life has been so terrible and traumatic and controlled by all this stuff. I'd rather just cease existing and give my body over to this fucking guy.
And hey, did you know Donny Cates likes to write metaphors for addiction?
Yeah.
Because boy howdy, is this as blatant as it ever's been for that metaphor? Because literally, he disappears out of her life. He shows up, and it talks incoherently at her. And every once in a while, he gets very angry at her, and it acts out in anger, like a person who is very lost in drugs.
Yeah. That felt very true to life as somebody who has experience with that stuff. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's intense. Don't go into Vanish expecting like the end of God Country.
Mm-hmm.
It's good though.
This is the bad ending.
This is bad ending. We both read Daredevil number 13. This issue's so good, it can make someone go to fucking church.
Matt kicks ass for the Lord.
Matt has anime and God on his side.
It's literally, he fucking puts his goddamn billy clubs up to his horns and pulls them out as katanas while clad in bright white and fighting beast demons.
Like, legit, the entire time he's just going like, oh, God didn't send me down here, but God is with me. And he wants to, like, I can feel him in me. He wants this to happen because I'm fighting for love. I'm fighting for my friends.
Like, this is how you know Chip Zdarsky is a good writer. Because I have no idea if Chip is into any kind of religion. But, like, this is the most believably Christian I've ever seen Matt Murdock written.
Oh, yeah. It's not just the guilt. It's also just like, hey, love and caring for people. That's nice.
Yeah. Also, Foggy's not dead again. Hooray!
Yeah, but he is naked in the middle of the woods.
Well, that's easily solved.
Yeah. I just find it funny. But I also just love how his dad also just starts fighting fucking demons to help him
Yeah.
out. Like, fuck.
Where's Hey, fucking Dan Yoon, where's that Marvel Legends 2-pack of Daredevil in all white with a couple of katanas and his dad?
Give give us Battling Jack.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. This issue's fucking great. Please have Daredevil meet the one above all.
Who
That
would the one above all be to him?
Stan.
Are you sure it would be Stan?
Jack didn't work on the book.
Hmm.
It was with a different artist.
Okay. I don't know.
And also, here's the thing.
I know this might make this chat mad. I kind of feel like it should be Frank Miller.
I can understand that. Here's the thing. In my head, one above all would present in kind of a person like a boxer promoter, but like in a good way of like, hey kid, you did great out there. Oh man, you went out there, you gave it your all. You're gonna get your reward. Trust me, you got your pot. You're gonna be taken care of. You know.
See, I would love it if it's like an old man starts shuffling out of the shadows and he's like, "Well, you made it. I don't know how, but you made it for this one too, Hornhead." And it's like, "Stick? No. I haven't I don't go by that name. I go by a lot of names, but not that one." And it's fucking Frank Miller. It's current old man Frank Miller.
Man, I put you through some shit,
Mm-hmm.
but you always come out.
I never put you through this, but I put you through some shit. And because of that, you've kind of gotten a raw deal over the years. So
Here you
here's a
go. Come to
little
heaven.
here's a little gimme.
Here, come to heaven, and Daredevil just looks at him and goes like, "No."
I've got more to do.
And that's when the old man smiles and goes like, "Fuck, I knew you'd say that." That's our Daredevil.
Yeah. That's my Daredevil. That's the real Daredevil, damn it.
Daredevil good.
Mm-hmm.
You read Power Rangers Unlimited.
Yes, this is the coinless one shot that they've been teasing and building up to for months and months and months. And it fucking sucked!
Oh.
For those of you who are not aware, the coinless universe is the new official name for the home universe of Lord Draken, the universe where Tommy stayed evil and made a post-apocalyptic Angel Grove happen, and presumably the rest of the world looks like that too. But we only ever see the Angel Grove of this universe. And at the end of a recent issue of Power Rangers, he grabbed the traitor Omega Ranger, Blue Ranger lady, and scurried off to his universe with a new set of power coins. And he shows up and he's like, "All right, I'm going to raise a new army, and then we're going to go and stop Mr. Spile. I'm going to be the big damn hero, and everybody's going to finally love me again." And they take one look around and it's like, oh no, this place has gone to shit even more because Dark Spectre came to town, and apparently in the comics universe, Dark Spectre turns everybody into like fucking putty zombies. Which was not a thing in the show at all, but also like Dark Spectre was blatant suit reuse that they just did to establish a big final villain that they never ended up actually using because they just let one of the other villains take him out because they realized he was way too big of a threat for the Power Rangers to realistically deal with. And here we're just kind of playing that up more so with the fact that the putty zombie. This is just what if a Power Rangers universe that was already post-apocalyptic now has to deal with fucking The Walking Dead. Because there is a lot of Walking Dead zombie story tropes in this. It's a lot of like characters either ignoring the zombie apocalypse or not dealing with it well. And everybody else just arguing with each other about how to fix things and who's in charge and this, that, and the other thing. and they have a big mission of like, oh, we can get to this place and get what's left of this universe's power coins, and maybe that'll allow us to become Rangers again and save the day. And there's a big reveal that actually Jason was alive in this universe the whole time, but he was a hermit. And so here's old man Jason with a big bushy beard and a shotgun. Isn't that cool? No. Anyway, uh, they do get a new set of powers. So yay, a new fucking comic original takeoff of the MMPR costumes that people will ask Hasbro to make figures for some reason. And look like they would be entirely impractical as action figures, actually. Uh, and yeah, a couple more people die, and it's like this is the last of this universe, and now nobody knows what to do. It's just a really sad, stupid ending. Um, I fucking hated the whole thing. It felt very tonally off from how the Draken universe has been portrayed in the past, which is usually like this is a very dark alternate universe, but it's still a Power Rangers universe. These characters are still fun and still have a hopeful core to them. Whereas this is just a bunch of fucking people yelling at each other like you would see in a zombie apocalypse, and some people being really fucking delusional in a sad way that's not at all entertaining to me.
So overall, would you suggest the book?
Fuck no!
Alright, cool. We both read Steelworks.
Hey, this was alright. I actually like this a fair bit more than the first issue.
Yeah.
Because there's a fucking plot happening.
Well, yeah, it's basically the super family's like, do you really want to kick us out? And it's like, kinda, not really, kinda. It's weird.
We gotta, it's about collaboration, baby.
We can't just rely on you. We also have to be able to rely on ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Also, here's a new villain.
Yeah. Also, Jay has a job.
Mm-hmm. Also, we're bringing a little more Tony Stark into John Henry Irons' character, with him getting a little too detached and focused on his work, and not understanding that, like, hey, maybe you should be spending a little bit more time with your fiance, you jackass.
Yeah. Though this was a lot more sincere than Tony Stark, because he would be like, it's self-destructive with Tony Stark. This is just like, ah, man, I really want to do some good.
I got distracted, though. And I forget what he says. He says something in that elevator scene where it's like, did you really just refer to your fiance that way? And he's like, yeah, and I know I shouldn't have. Fuck.
Yeah, but good book. Good book. We both read Peacemaker Tries Hard.
This book is so fucking good.
This book is so good. Like, is there anything in this book so far that can't be put into canon?
No, this is just more of the show, and I love it.
Yeah. He is beaten, battered, and bruised, goes into a bar. No one's there. He walks into the ladies' room, gets a bunch of fucking tampons and pads to use as bandages.
And then, like, the few old men and the bartender that are there are like, what is your problem? And he just unloads on them. And then the bad guys show up and there's a big old bar fight.
Yeah. And then he goes home and goes like, all right, cool. I have renewed resolve to save my dog. And his parole officer's there going like, hey, buddy.
You fucked up. You got to go to jail now. And he's like, no, they stole my dog. You got to help me. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. I was actually secretly a Silver Age hero. I'll fucking put my costume on one more time and help you.
And it's the fucking Red Bee.
Yeah.
What the fuck? DC owned the Red Bee?
I didn't remember that shit, but okay.
Either that or he's public domain.
It could be either or at this point. Either way, guard your loins, you Nazi fucks.
Oh, man. This was fun.
Yeah.
It's good. Read Peacemaker Tries Hard.
It's a good book. I like it.
We also both read Fantastic Four, number 9.
fairly satisfactory wrap up to this arc.
Oh yeah. It's also just definitively shows, yeah, no, Alicia may not be a superhero part of the Fantastic Four. She deserves to be in the family, though.
Yeah, she's the secret fifth member. I really enjoyed getting a whole issue from her perspective, at least narratively.
Mm-hmm.
There's that one page where it's like, this is what things look like to Alicia put in the context of comic book panels. Um, but it all still flows well, and her narration is really cute and interesting, and allows us a little more insight into some of the more mundane aspects of the FF's life, and kind of reminds us like, hey, the FF are amazing people, and if you were at even anywhere near as close to them as Alicia are, you would feel incredibly blessed to have them as an extended family.
But also, like, she's a badass, and she goes like, "Hey, Sue, can you make invisible clay so I can make a puppet to help you fight?" And that's like, that's brilliant.
And it's like, why haven't we fucking done this before? This is amazing. Also, Alicia Masters is a comic book fan.
And has Ben Grimm read her the pages, and that's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
They save the day. It's just fun.
It's good. I like it.
It's good, clean fun.
This FF run, man, this has been solid.
This is gonna go down as like one of the better ones.
Yeah.
The Lee Byrne, who's the one in the early 2000s?
Wade.
Wade,
Hickman.
North.
Yeah.
We both read Doctor Strange, number 5.
Hey, this was exactly what I wanted it to be. This was just big, stupid,
messy soap opera.
Characters playing off of each other, and like, remember how weird this shit can get, but within the context of a weird family situation.
Oh yeah.
Like, Dormammu shows up as the officiant, and he just rubs it in everyone's face how much of a shit he is.
And like, Doctor Strange does not get along with his new father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And
fucking I'm trying to remember Clea's mom's name. Umar is like, hey, I've got a new baby on the way. I'm never having a physical baby again because that was a fucking nightmare. But we're making a new magical baby together. So you're going to be a sister, and you're not going to have to worry about being my heir. And isn't that going to be great for you? And Clea just goes and sits down next to Steve, and she's like, I don't fucking know how to process this. He's like, it'll be okay, honey.
I mean, here's the thing for Clea. She hasn't wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, now that the weight is just like, the way
it was told to her was like incredibly flippant and disrespectful.
Yeah. It's just like, all right. And then big dumb thing happens, and they have to fight.
Yep, and we finally found out who the killer probably is, because they don't literally say he's the killer, but it's like, oh, new fucker, it's probably the killer. Weird alternate future bad guy Doctor Strange.
Yeah. He feels like he comes from a universe where the death of magic stayed. And magic just died completely, and now he's just like a roving Ronin vagabond dude.
I can see that.
Yeah. Doctor Strange, good.
Solid.
Yeah. It's delightful.
It's also the last comic of the week.
It is the last comic of the week. Oh boy, comics.
Comics.
Oh my god, you're sucking the dick of comics.
I do that every week. That's my Wednesday tradition.
Hey. Tell the people where they can find you.
Hey everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos. They're things I'm quite proud of. Hey, speaking of comics, a property that got its modern lore started in comic books is G.I. Joe, and I did a G.I. Joe video this week. And I've got a video on something maybe a little more marvelous coming out next week. So you'll want to go check that out, as well as my entire backlog on youtube.com at the Vacuuminator. I'm also on TikTok posting clips of my older videos. That's at the underscore Vacuuminator. I have an Instagram account where I post daily action figure photography. That is also at the underscore Vacuuminator. And I have a Tumblr and a Twitter where all those things get collated. That is thevacuuminator.tumblr.com and at the Vacuuminator.
Hells bells. Hey, howdy, howdy. I'm Boingo Writer. I do a variety of content on the internet, including this podcast. I also have YouTube videos. I do a weekly Kamen Rider Geeks review, and I have other video essays in the plans, in the works. Trust me. I also stream on Twitch. Follow me on social media sites to know when I do that, but it's twitch.tv/Boingo Writer. I am on a variety of social media platforms. The complete list of which is currently in flux. But right now you can find me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Boingo_writer. And you can follow my Tumblr. Link is always down below. And this has been Modular Media's No Price Podcast, one component of a greater whole of modular media. We also have components, which is just kind of like a midnight hang sesh with the boys, but as a podcast. We think we're funny.
There's guests sometimes.
We tell dick jokes.
We talk about our interests and our hobbies and the impending doom of modern society.
We also have Analocal Fanboys, which is a monthly media cast. One person picks a piece of media, the rest react to it. We also have Twit, This Week in Toku, hosted by Vac and Buster, where they talk about tokusatsu, which is special effects in Japanese. So Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, Godzilla, Ultraman, Barney the Dinosaur, you name it, they'll watch it. There is also another brand new podcast that is going on. Tell the folks about Saturday Morning Panels.
Saturday Morning Panels is the new monthly podcast from myself and Snowcone83. It drops on the first Thursday of every month, and it is us discussing the latest news and new releases from the worlds of the Transformers and G.I. Joe, as well as working our way through the classic Marvel comic runs of those two franchises. Our second, well, technically third, but number 2 is coming out next in just a couple weeks here. And that is going to be covering A Real American Hero number 2. And possibly some news, possibly some action figures. I don't quite know. I haven't quite worked out the format for the episode yet, but I need to do that at some point this week because I think we're recording on Saturday.
Totally fair, totally fair. Hey, if you want to support us, please like, comment, and subscribe to this video and many more that we put out. We really appreciate it. Follow us on social media platforms. I guess you can follow us on The Dying Bird at The Modular Media. You can also follow us on Modular Media's Tumblr account. Link down below. And in the meantime, Vac, do you have anything else you would like to say?
Bob.
Enough said.